Struggling with your mental health and wondering how you got here? You're not alone. I've been there too. When I was cavern deep in my own mental health struggles, I kept asking, how the heck did I get here? If you feel overwhelmed, like you're about to lose your cookies, and you need someone to help you find the way out, don't give up. I've got you. Welcome back to my channel, dear seeker. I hope you're having an amazing day. If not, let's get you back on track. This is a real story about how so many of us can unknowingly slide into the pits of mental illness and how we can climb out. Now, let's unbox this story about Joe Schmo and how he recovered his mental health. Not so long ago, in a city near you, were two Joes, Joe Schmo and Joe Blow. They'd both decided that life was way too stressful, and they needed a break from the everyday grind.
I'm so stressed out. I need a break from life and the grind.
Follow me, and I'll show you how to have some fun.
Wow, thanks, man. I've always needed a pal like you who gets me.
No problem. I know everything, and I have all the answers.
Wow, thanks, man. You're the greatest.
Joe Blow showed Joe Schmo a time of adventure beyond anything he could have ever imagined. The two Joes engaged in every sin that life has to offer. And for a season, the scene was actually a lot of fun. While Joe Blow went right back to his everyday grind, Joe Schmo enjoyed being distracted so much that he started spending more time living in fantasy rather than reality. One day, Joe Schmo was minding his own business, enjoying his new existence, while on the way to the next venue, he fell into a deep hole.
No, wait, it was more like a cavern, like a large cavern with a lot of caves and stuff. You feel me?
Yeah, like that. Anyway, Joe started to cry out.
Hey, I'm down in this hole. Is there anybody out there? I think I need some help.
All the while, people were walking by and saw Joe Schmo down in the hole, and since folks prefer playing the pretend game, most of the people pretended not to see him and ignored his cries for help. But a couple of people threw water bottles, sandwiches, or toilet paper his way, and that made Joe cry out even more.
Oh my God, someone please get me out of here.
One day, a preacher walked by and saw Joe in the hole.
Listen here, young man. You got yourself into that hole, and here's the way out.
The preacher read Joe some scriptures, which gave Joe comfort for a little minute. Yet, Joe stayed stuck in the hole. Day after day, as things began to go from bad to worse, Joe continued to cry out even more desperately.
Please, somebody help me. I can't stay here anymore.
As time went on, while stuck in that hole, Joe found himself becoming more and more anxious, depressed, and lonely. One day, a psychiatrist walked by and heard Joe's cries.
Hey, young man, I know exactly what you need. Here are some scripts. Take these meds and call me in the morning.
While the meds gave Joe a measure of relief for a season, the side effects added even more problems to his plate. Plus, those pills didn't cure Joe's loneliness or fill that empty feeling inside of his soul. Joe was becoming more and more desperate. He'd been in that hole for a long time, shouting for help, and it seemed as if he would never get out. Finally, Joe surrendered.
Dear God, please, I cannot do this anymore. Please send someone to help me.
A short time after that, Joe saw a stranger staring at him from the top of the hole. The dude didn't look like Joe. The stranger was a different race, political party, and social status, but at that point, Joe didn't care. He just wanted help. While reaching down into the hole, the stranger said,
Listen, Joe, I've been in this hole before and I know the way out, so follow me and I will show you how to get out of here.
Thankfully, Joe wasn't such a schmo after all. He took a leap of faith, listened to his new helper, and followed his lead. And even though it was a painstaking journey, and sometimes Joe didn't understand it, eventually, Joe made his way out of that crypt. And Joe and the stranger became best friends for life. Now, you may be thinking,
Listen, G, this doesn't sound like a true story. After all, there are no caverns in Sin City.
While in a literal sense, this is correct. However, metaphorically, these kinds of events happen every day to people from all walks of life. When life becomes too challenging or throws us a curveball, many of us tend to dodge it rather than face it head on. Instead of dealing with the tough stuff, we might seek advice from clueless folks like we see our friend Joe did, or try to self-medicate the pain as we dive into distractions, or take the easy way out by resorting to unhealthy behaviors or mindsets. Before we know it, we're cavern deep in with addictions, messy affairs, or toxic friendships and situations that help us avoid life's realities. Let me ask you, dear viewer, does this describe you? Does Joe's story sound like yours? Were you living your life the best way you could, and then you fell into a cavern of pain and misery you didn't bargain for? As your challenging situation dragged on, did it seem like nobody understood or even cared? Maybe you've been crying for help, but people are either ignoring you or doing the best they can with the limited resources they have to help you. While in the middle of the chaos, have you tried religion, doctors, and counselors to no avail? Let's face it, life is hard in this crazy world, and it's even harder because our schools don't teach solid mental health strategies. Besides that, most of us were raised by people who didn't know better or didn't care because, like most people, they were too busy self-medicating and/or hiding from their own struggles. If this sounds like your story, there's no need to be ashamed, because it's my story too. I was raised by some really messed up folks, and I suffered both simple and complex trauma while growing up. My family of origin members neither understood nor cared about mental health. If I wanted to heal my pains from the past and get healthy, I had to figure it out myself. Since I had no idea how to live and kept taking advice from people who didn't either, I found myself trapped in the caverns and trenches of depression, anxiety, addiction, self-abuse, and other unhealthy behaviors. But you know what? I didn't just stay in that hole. I found my way out. How? Someone who had been in the same place before showed me the way out because someone else had shown them too. I've learned that the best way to learn anything is to let someone who's been there, done that, teach me the how and what to do and what not to do. What about you, my friend? Are you cavern deep in mental health struggles from past trauma, as I once was? Are those memories holding you hostage every day because you haven't faced and worked through them yet? You won't get out of that hole on your own. Where do you go from here? You may feel powerless, but the truth is, we all have power, the power of choice. Will we stay stuck in the caverns and trenches of unhealthy behaviors and misery, or will we learn a new way of living? Free ourselves from the pains of the past and the afflictions of the present and become all we were created to be? Mental health recovery is possible. I know because I am living it. I went from a broke, busted, and disgusted, barely hanging on to life by a piece of dental floss person to someone who has become fully alive, thriving, and full of peace and contentment every day. If Joe's story sounds like your story and you're cavern deep in a mess, or maybe you're looking for easy mental health hacks to help you win each day, you're in the right place. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Join our community. Drop a comment with what you're facing, and let's take the next step together. One day and one win at a time. Until next time. For relaxing music and beautiful scenes that help calm your mind for a daily win, check out my other channel, Beautify Your Mind Studio. I'm G, and I post mind over matter easy mental health hacks to help you win every day.